This is roll, get your roll on. 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 Roll on. This is roll, get your 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 roll on. Roll.
I picked up a lot of passengers that day. This racist ass white man, this ghetto ass black chick, and even this gay couple, which got really awkward in my back seat, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, I head back to I went to my dad's house. I see my dad and Rachel, and they look like they was doing fine. Smiling as always. My dad in great shape, her looking beautiful every time I see her. Damn, I wish she had a daughter or something. For real, she looks good. My dad did a good job on this one. I ain't gonna front. I asked her where was Gabriel, but she said he wasn't around. I said, okay. But she said, you're welcome to stay tonight. I said, I think I'll take you up on that offer. As we sat down at the dinner table, she made some steak and potatoes. I'm like, damn, does this woman always cook this quality of food on a weekday? My dad said, yeah, that's how she get down, son. Anyways, I'm getting my knife and my fork and I'm going at it. I'm going to work. But then I had to remember that they don't know that I've been homeless and haven't been eating the right food. My dad said, damn, son, you act like you ain't ate. And I had to play it off. I was like, yes, Dad, it's just, this food is so good. Every time Rachel cooks, I can't help but to get down with it, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I guess. So he says, where are you living now? I said, I got a few prospects right now, you know? He was like, so where are you living now, though? I said, I'm living in my car. Rachel stops cooking and says, what? I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, you guys. It's really not. It's cool. I got this. I got a great gig coming up, and it's gonna do everything I need. I make great money. I make it on the day. I'm about to get me an apartment, and I'll be good. Rachel said, you are family. You should not be living in your car. I could have been told Gabriel to go stay on campus. You could have had his room. I said, nah, I'm not. See, that's what I'm not here to do. I'm not here to be a burden. I didn't come out of jail just to be in the way of people. I'm trying to make my own way, be my own man. Then my dad chimes in and says, son, I understand that, and I can respect that. But you living in your car is just not good. He says, you can't, your hygiene is not great. And you're talking about a job called what, cruise? You can't have people coming in there and you live in there. How you gonna make that work, son? I said, Dad, I'll wash it, detail it every day if I got to. It's just for a short period of time until I get this gig. And when I get it, I'm going to hold on to it with everything I got. He was like, yeah, like you held on to Kroger? I said, Dad, come on, man. He said, I'm just saying, son, you always let them women run your mind like that. I couldn't even say anything. I said, all right, fair. Anyways, I ended up going upstairs. And I didn't feel comfortable laying in his bed, because I ain't laying in no other nigga's bed. So I ended up taking some of the covers that Rachel offered me, and I laid on the floor. I turned the TV on. I wasn't really into it, though. I just kept thinking about this interview and this gig, some of the stuff Rachel and my dad was saying to me, thinking about if they're going to call me back. That next morning came. I smelled some cooking early in the morning. Rachel is throwing down. It smelled like some bacon and eggs, sausage, some biscuits. It smelled wonderful. I get downstairs as I get dressed, and she says, "Have you thought about what we talked about last night?" I said, "Oh, about staying here?" She was like, "Yeah, we would love to have you." I said, "Yeah, I thought about it. I need to think a little bit more on it, but I appreciate the offer." He said, "Yeah." She said, "At least sit down and eat before you head out." I was real quick this time because I just needed to get out of there. I didn't want to get too convicted about the fact I've been living in my car. And this is why I didn't want to share the news. Part of me feels like I shouldn't have came to my dad's because I knew this was going to get exposed. Who's to say if he's going to tell my mom? My mom hadn't even asked me about where I was living. I think it's better that way. I don't want to be a pity case to anybody. After that, I dap up with my dad, get Rachel a hug, tell them that I love them and I see them later. I would get in my car, reverse out of the driveway, start heading out, look for some other gigs to apply for. See the IHOP hiring sign. It's like, I really don't want to do this. But shoot, I just walked in anyway. Asked if I can get an application and I filled it out. Gave it to the manager and they asked me my availability, everything. They pretty much was trying to hire me on the spot. And I was ready to take the job. I was gonna do right this time. I knew I wasn't gonna make the same mistake that I made at Kroger, nor at Long John Silver. As soon as I left, I got a phone call from a random number. They said, "Hello, is this Jalen Watts?" I said, "Yes, this is he. We want to hire you on to our crew for cruise." And he laughed because he thought it was funny that he said crew for cruise. I said, "Are you serious? Y'all want to hire me?" He was like, "Yeah, absolutely. We think that you'll be a great fit for us." They said, "When can you start?" I said, "I could start tomorrow." He said, "All right." He said, "Come on in." I said, "Okay, we'll do." This time I didn't get as happy as I was when I got hired at Kroger because I just wasn't as comfortable. Feel like I would hold on to the gig. The following day comes and I walk back in this big building again. And I walk in and they got us all sitting in the chairs, a bunch of us. Like we're in this big meeting. And the dude's going on, he's starting to lecture us about the expectation, how it works, the rule book, the handbook, the pay, benefits, all that stuff that you get coming into the door. As he's standing up and we're sitting in this big hallway in chairs, I noticed Robin in the back of him. She was talking to people, smiling, saying good morning and everything. I just noticed how vibrant her spirit was. I was like, damn, she's taking care of business. Look at her. I was like, if I could just ever get one date with her, I'm telling you, I can change her life. Hell, she might can change mine. But I had to focus because the guy that was talking, he called on me and said, "Did you catch that?" I said, yeah. Be careful with all the passengers that you put in your car. Got it. He said, all right. Goes on a little further, and I had to come out of the daydream of Robin. And when I did, he said, all right. They gave us everything we needed. They gave us the sticker. Cruise is an orange. That was their color. So we had an orange little light that we hooked up into our car, that we hooked into our cigarette lighter. And they told us pretty much do this, do that, and this is how it works. I said, all right, here we go. back to the parking lot. I see all these people excited, smiling and everything, ready to go. Shit, I was excited myself. I ain't gonna front because I was ready to make that pay. It goes straight to my account, and I get it on the daily. And I needed that because I be hungry, and I damn sure be not wanting to sleep in my car every night. I started my car and get to driving. Bumping a little music like I normally do, feeling good. And I noticed somebody pinged me. It didn't show the name of the person, it just said user. It said user 5. I don't know why it started with user 5. But I go pick up user 5 on the west side. Looks like a school or a campus or something. I pulled up, I'm like, who goes to school here and why do they need? I don't know. It don't matter. I'm here to get this pay. You never believe who walks out. Gabriel. He gets in the car. I said, hey, what's going on, man? He was like, yeah, man, just trying to get to my destination. He didn't even notice it was me. He would never look up from his tablet. I was like, hey, come on, man, Gabe, it's me. Jalen, you don't remember? He said, oh, yeah. You're my mom's boyfriend's son, right? I'm like, yeah. I mean, you don't know his name? He said, well, you get what I'm saying. I know his name, but yeah. Yeah, good to see you again, bro. Like, you too, man. For a while, we were driving and it was quiet. Because he had his headphones in, looked like he was taking care of business. He's swiping, tapping. That's all I knew that he was doing. So I asked him a question. I said, hey, Gabe, can I call you Gabe? He's like, yeah, that's fine. I said, hey, Gabe, is there a way you can look up some information about somebody? He was like, that depends on what I'm looking up. I'm no stalker, bro. I said, no, I know that. That's not what I'm asking you. Just like kind of like career information. He was like, yeah, I can look it up on LinkedIn. What's the name? I said, her name is Robin Ellis. He says, how's that spelled? I said, ROBYNELLIS. He said, okay, got it. Then he spun his tablet around. I looked in the rearview mirror. He says, is this her? I smiled. I said, that is absolutely her. Even her picture looked good. He said, yeah, Robin Ellis. Looks like she's 30 years old. She graduated from Butler with a business degree, bachelor's. Looked like she might have been married before. Something about this detail that makes me feel that way, but I'm not quite sure. Looked like she might have been married before. Looked like she inherited some money after her father passed. Don't say much about her mother. Okay. And she started her business cruise with a couple of other investors about 4 years ago. In 2016. Yeah, that's pretty much what's there. I said, man, thanks, man. This is good. This is good stuff. He said, so what, Jalen, who is this woman? Why do you feel the need to know about her? I said, well, I applied for this job. Now I'm here. I just wanted to know more about her. I'm very interested in her. Gabriel kind of laughed. And I said, what's so funny? He's like, bro, she's just not one of those type of women that you can just use your natural charm with. She's smarter than that. I took offense. I said, what you mean by that? What do you mean she's smarter than that? He said, no, calm down, bro. It's not like that. What I mean is, she's not a woman that get caught up in little childish games or little witty ways to woo her. She's a woman with a brain, you can tell. She's a black woman with her own business, with other investors, and she's strong and important. I said, okay, so what you saying? He said, what I'm saying is, Jay, you got to be professional with her. You got to show her another side. You can't be like you normally are with other people. You can't do that. It ain't gonna work. Especially now that you technically work for her. I said, damn. Yeah, you're right. We pull up to his destination. Guess he was going to Starbucks meeting some friends. He said, well, nice catching up with you, Jalen, man. Closes the door and he walks in and waves at his friends. I drove off thinking about what he said. As I went back to the building, I drove a few people around other than him, of course. I went to go stop by her office. I knocked on the door. I said, hey. She said, hey. I said, how are you doing? She said, I'm good. Is there anything that I can help you with? I said, yeah, actually, there is. I came up with some bullshit question to ask about the job. She bought into it and she answered it professionally. And I found myself asking her for a date. I said, so, just off the record, is there a way that we can go on a date, like me and you, like if I could take you out sometime? She sighed and smiled and said, Jalen, look, I'm sure you're a cool person. I'm sure you normally don't have a problem with women. And I'm sure that you'll be fine in the near future here at Cruise. But I keep my business and personal things separate. I don't date employees of mine. And to be frankly honest, I'm really just not that interested. I'm sorry. But if there's anything I can help you with on Cruise, my office is always open. I said, wow. Okay. Yeah. Understandable, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Robin. He says, no problem, Jalen. You have a good day. Then when I left that day, it really started to kick in. Everything that Gabriel was telling me. So I said I needed to change my approach. So the next day, I changed up my clothes and everything. I had tattoos, but I wanted to make sure they were covered up. I wanted to change how I presented myself. Be the man that I always knew I could be. Now I got on some khakis, these slacks and these boat shoes. A little proper, but it fits. I get out here and I drive and I see I get pinged. User 21. Okay. I picked up this racist ass, illiterate white man. I picked up this ghetto black chick that let my ass have it. And I picked up this gay couple. Now I'm not gonna even speak about what I seen in my back seat. Ugh. I go back to Cruise for the day and I clock out. I see Robin is still there. I asked her, did she need some help walking to the car? And she said, no, I'm a big girl, but thank you. I said, okay, you sure? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I get in my car. She goes, the wind is blowing. Her umbrella flips up. Now the rain is hitting her everywhere. I was gonna help her. But all I could play back in my head is, I'm not interested. And I didn't want anything else that I did to look like it was something else. After a while, days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Before I knew it, I stopped even thinking about Robin in that way. I kind of just looked at her as my boss. I always knew she was that beautiful boss, but that's all I looked at her as. One day, she had told me that she told everybody that she has to do a driving test with everybody. So that day, my driving test with her was around 3 o'clock. She said that you had to turn off your radar so that nobody can choose you as a driver. She gets in the car in the back seat. She has her clipboard. I'm driving, I'm not saying anything. She starts off by saying, okay, I want you to act as if I am an actual passenger and treat me exactly how you treat your passengers. I said, exactly how? She's like, yeah. I said, okay. She said, okay, so let's take it to the top. I said, okay, how are you doing today? She says, I'm doing fine. And yourself? I said, I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. I'm driving still. She starts scribbling things in her notebook. She started to notice how good my car smelled, how clean it was. She started to look at how I was dressed. She looked at my shirt. She was looking at my arms. I could see her in the rear view of my eye. But I didn't want to make it awkward because I didn't think that she was interested or anything funny. I thought she was just doing her job. So she tells me what she's doing in the car. She makes small talk like customers tend to do. Then something weird happens. She's scribbling on her notes and she says, "Okay, I got another question for you. Would you be willing to go out on a date with me?" And I'm confused. I'm like, "Excuse me? That's unprofessional. I can't date. I can't date no passengers. I'm sorry, but I can drop you off at your destination." Now she's back there and she's kind of pausing and she's saying, "I'm not asking as a passenger." So it got awkwardly quiet for a moment. Then I said, Miss Ellis. She said, "You know you called me Robin." I said, "Robin, I don't know what to do here, but I don't understand." She says, "Jalen, look, I'm asking you, do you want to go on a date with me? I'm already not used to doing this. I don't ask men out. Can you make it easier for both of us by saying yes?" I didn't make it easy for her. I said, "Let me check my schedule." She said, "Okay, well, you know what?" I said, "Look, okay, of course I will. Of course I will." She says, "Okay, good. Stop by my office by the end of the day, and I'll give you my business card with my information, where to pick me up at and what time and where we're going." I said, "Okay, yes, ma'am." I get back to the building, and she goes to her office, and I pick up a few passengers during the day. By this time, it was 6 o'clock. I go back. I get the business card from her. She said, "Here you go. You have a good day, Mr. Watts." I said, "Thank you." As I go home, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited because I know tomorrow night I'm taking her out. That following day, I did my normal route as a cruise driver, picking up passengers, making my daily money, but then it was time to get her. Now, she stayed on Meridian. For those of you that are in Indiana, you know exactly what I mean. She stays in one of these big castle-looking houses. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. As I'm pulling up to it in the gate, and she talks through the intercom. She said, "Who is it?" I said, "It's Jalen." She said, "Oh, okay, yeah, come on." And the gate opens. And now I am super intimidated now at the fact that she lives in this big house and she owns this business. So I just waited outside of my car. She told me to come in, but I was just like, yeah, I'll stay here. She comes out. She has on this red body dress. Her hair is pressed down. This red lipstick. Black heels with the red bottoms. She's walking on that gravel and she's walking so perfect. I'm so caught in a daze. I'm like, damn, this woman is And I'm going out on a date with her. I ain't gonna lie. I started bitching up a little bit. This woman really started to intimidate me because once I started finding out who she was and how important she was, it made me notice how small I was in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, she gets in the car and I say, "You look beautiful." And she says, "Don't try to hit me with no pickup lines." I said, "I'm not. I'm serious. You look beautiful." And I don't say that to women. She said, "Well, thank you." She said, "You look handsome yourself." I said, "Well, thank you." I was dressed up in an all-black fitted suit. I was black from the black undershirt to the black skinny tie to the black blazer. I had the penny loafers on with the gold tip on it. I was fresh, so I'm not going to front you with a fresh haircut. My waves was booming. We get to this very, very nice restaurant that I've never seen before. Very sophisticated. And we walk in, she says, yes, this is a spot that I really love to go to. They have some of the best food here. And I can't front, a girl like to eat. I said, well, I love a girl that likes to eat. And she just smiled. We both ordered some white wine. As we were waiting, me and her having a great conversation. I'm making her laugh because we're talking about 90s references like Martin and Fresh Prince, which show was better, which cartoon was better. And it shocked me, even though we're 5 years a difference in age, she knew a lot of the same things I knew, and that was cool to me. As the waiter brought us our food, she ordered some asparagus, a baked potato, steak. Me, I ain't gonna front, I got me a normal burger and fries. Now that might have been foreshadowing, but the burger was fire nonetheless, and she even asked me for a bite. But I let her bite it. I was gonna cut it for her. She's like, what you doing? I was like, cutting you off a piece of my burger. She was like, nah. She said, I know what time it is, come on, feed it to me. I said, okay, you want me to pinch it off or you want? She said, Jalen. I said, okay, all right. I put the burger up to her mouth from the back as I spun it around. And she took a bite out of it. And she wiped the corner of her lips and she said, I should have got what you got. What kind of sauce is that on there? I said, I don't know, it's some kind of in-house sauce. As she's sitting there chewing on it, this guy walks by and says, Robin? And she looks at him and says, Jake. He says, damn girl, you look good. What you been up to? What's going on with you? Who you here with? Who is he? She was like, he's a friend. What do you want? He was like, nothing. I just seen you and I had to say hi. And then Jake reaches his hand out to me. He said, I'm Jake, by the way, her ex-husband. I said, I'm Jalen. So then she looks at him and she said, can you please leave? He said, okay, I thought everything was all good, but it's good to see you, sweet cheeks. That pissed her off. She immediately got up from the table and she was like, I'm ready to go. I said, okay, wait a minute, we got to pay for this. We can't just, she said, look, I already talked to them. It's already paid for. I'm ready to go now. I'm like, okay, all right. The whole ride home, it was a quiet ride. I pull back up to her house. She opens the gate with some kind of sensor she had on her keys. Pull all the way up to the door, driveway. And she gets out of the car and I walk her up to her door. She didn't really want me to, but I felt the need to. So we're walking slow, still not talking. And I said, look, don't worry about him. I don't know what your history is, but you're doing fine. You are beautiful. You are a black woman, and can't nobody take this from you. She began to start letting her guard down, but she still was pretty mad. So I kept going. I figured it was working. I told her that I respected her. I respected her body, her mind, her heart. But before I could finish talking about what else I respected, she began kissing. She stopped and paused and looked at me. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed that I before she could finish. Next thing you know, she gets the keys and she opens that door and we start going upstairs. I didn't know where I was going. I'd never been in this house before, but she starts to walk me up as we're chasing each other, tonguing down each other. I picked up this racist ass white man, this ghetto ass black chick, and this gay couple that made things really awkward in my back seat. Oh.
Some sunshine.
So deep inside of you, embrace me with your waterfalls. I wanna dive so deep inside of you.
And that next morning, she had left. I was laying in her bed, and she left a note there that says, "Let's keep it strictly professional. I see you when we get to work. Love, Robin." Roll is created, written, produced, performed by Maurice Hunt III. Also written by Deshay. Sound effects by freesound.org. Music by A Nice, Raheem, YDMG, Anthony Hamilton, Rory, Colts Beats, 2 Chainz, Sango, Outkast, Xavier Omar, and Maurice Hunt III. I do not own the rights to any music or sounds used to produce this series, nor do I profit off of it. Thank you for listening, and tune in next time on Roll.
This is Roll.